Hey there, it's Josh and Elizabeth from Things from Another World, also known as TPAW.com, here for your weekly dose of comics reviews, partially recommended by you, our viewers. So take it away.
All right, I'm going to start off with Deadpool 31. This is one of my picks. Bong Dazo's art is just awesome. It's something that I kind of keyed into and I just really enjoy. It's kind of more comic-y kind of feel to it instead of just kind of a standard comic book kind of art. This is Deadpool versus what he calls the Draculas. Basically, just any vampire he calls Dracula, which is really funny. It's just a standard Deadpool comic, but with with vampires, and there's a really cool appearance from a sparkly vampire that you may have seen from another movie or book somewhere. So it's a fun issue, goes really quick, but it's definitely worth picking up this week.
Awesome. I've got Heroes for Hire #2, which was recommended to us by YouTube viewer DarkArmed82. I'm really enjoying this book. It's the second issue. If you don't know the premise, it is a mysterious control, who is Misty Knight, who is basically hiring various heroes and dropping them in for exciting, fast-paced adventures. So this is great. It's like all different types of Marvel team-ups. You never know who you're going to see next. And as we learned in the end of the first issue, that Misty Knight is actually under the control of the puppeteer. So it looks like someone else is going to catch on to that fact, which should further drive story.
I'm going to read Superman 707, which is part of J. Michael Straczynski's Grounded arc. Superman is in Des Moines, Iowa, and there's a factory that catches on fire. And so Superman puts that out just as he would, and but afterwards he's talking with some of the workers from the factory, and he has kind of a moral dilemma. And actually him and Lois have a little tiff about that in the book, and it kind of it sets Superman up for he's a little bit more interesting because it's not black and white. It's his problems that he's facing and Grounded are more complex than just kind of hey, this is wrong, hey, this is right kind of thing. So definitely a good issue.
I've got The Amazing Spider-Man 651, recommended by Carnival of Sins 0, another faithful YouTube viewer. I haven't picked it up for a while, so if you are just picking it up, these are the things to know. It's moving into a new phase. Peter Parker is keeping Spider-Man way more separate than his life as Peter Parker. He's got a new costume, and yes, they reference that it looks like something from Tron in the book. There is a new Hobgoblin, kind of a new Peter Parker. There's even a new Uncle Ben, and Humberto Ramos is doing the art, and I really think his dynamic, kind of cartoony style gives it a kick in the pants, yeah. And I'm interested to see kind of the status quo actually changing in this book.
Nameless Savage recommended that we get Daredevil Reborn #1. It's #1 of 4 issue story arc, and it basically has Matt dropped in the desert. I don't know how he got there, but he's in the desert and he's walking around, and he happens upon this blind boy, and he kind of helps him out, and this gang kind of wants to just go toe-to-toe with him, but he's not really about fighting at the moment. And yeah, it just sets us up for him being kind of coming back into the good graces of the Marvel Universe, I think. So pretty interesting issue, and it was Andy Diggle who wrote that one, and he did a really good job. So
I was very happy and very sad to see Thor: The Mighty Avenger issue 8. This is the last issue of this. It's been canceled. It was a beautiful issue. It's a great series. Roger Langridge and Chris Samnee they've done the best job of rebooting a superhero with a lot of baggage and a lot of continuity. This is the best I've seen probably since All-Star Superman. This was just a delight. Every issue is a delight. If you haven't picked it up yet and you're worried you won't be able to pick up, each issue is a self-contained story. And this is just showing, it's showing Thor meeting up with Iron Man for the first time. And it's fun to kind of go back in time where Iron Man is still Tony Stark's bodyguard. But it's just like the artwork couldn't be better. The tone couldn't be sweeter. Like, this is both fantastic for people who have a lot of comic book nostalgia. You know, people have kids who want to introduce them to comics. Like, this just could not be better.
We got Rebels number 24 from Agent 42Q is recommended. I haven't read Rebels before, and this one was kind of difficult to get into. It's about a team of kind of interstellar kind of policemen, I guess. And there really wasn't too much action, and there wasn't anything to kind of get new readers up to speed about what's going on in the book. One of the characters in there is Lobo, and that was actually the best part of the book for me. But it's something that you can't just jump into, folks. Read up before you get an issue.
I've got B.P.R.D. Hell on Earth Gods number 1. This is a start to a new story arc, so it's a great jumping on point. It really doesn't focus a lot on the B.P.R.D. in this issue. It's focusing on a 16-year-old girl named Phoenix who's kind of guiding a group of stowaways and runaways. She has some sort of connection to all the crazy things that are happening in the Hellboy universe, and she's leading them just ahead of the action. But it looks like, I'm not sure, it looks like they've dropped into the town where Abe and them were, where everybody was disappearing in the previous arc. And yeah, it looks like bad things are coming. We're not sure what they are. As usual, you know, John Arcuti's, you know, his take on the characters is fantastic. Guy Davis's art is wonderful, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
I've got the Hack Slash Me Without You one-shot. This is cover B. It basically follows Vlad from infancy until the moment that he meets Cassie Hack. And it's just a really kind of touching issue. You know, he's always been kind of a sad character just because, you know, of his looks. He hasn't been able to get into society, and he's kind of shunned by everybody except for Cassie. And yeah, definitely get that. If you have been even peripherally involved with Hack Slash, picked up the omnibuses or anything like that, it's a good standalone issue that that you need to have.
I'm winding things up with Spawn 200. This is a landmark issue. As you can see, it is extra large, and it was written and penciled by Todd McFarlane. I believe he even did the inks on it. So if you're a big Todd McFarlane story, you love Spawn, even if you fell away from Spawn for a while, this is the issue to get. This has a big confrontation between the old Spawn, Al Simmons, and the new Spawn, Jim. It's got Omega Spawns. It basically blows everything up and sets the tone for the next chapter in this series. And there are 7 covers to choose from, so you can find them all on our site and choose the one you like the best.
So that's pretty much it for this week's new releases. You can go ahead and hit any red arriving this week button up top, or down below if you're on YouTube.
Yep, we'll have a link there where you can see all of this week's comics and more.
So go ahead and give us what we should be reading next week, actually. Go ahead and submit your ideas to us.
And we will give you shout-outs so you can be YouTube famous.
See you next week.
Bye.